What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to those of you that have subscribed, and also thank you to those that are watching but haven't subscribed. Please go right ahead and subscribe. It helps me in bringing more videos, more cars, different brands on a weekly or 2 videos a week. Should you guys continue to support me, because I will go no further if I have no support. Appreciate all of you. Let's talk about the Highlander. This is the first time I'm filming the Toyota Highlander. I've personally driven this car, not this one, but I've actually driven a 22 Highlander in Canada. My cousin owned one, so I've had a good time. I've also rode in all seats of it, including the front as passenger, driven as a driver, sat in the second, and also have sat in the third row. We'll talk all about that. And should this car be on your list? First of all, it should be. Second of all, should it be compared to the Pilot? Or if you're comparing this with the Hyundai Palisade or the Kia Telluride, what is it that this is giving you that those aren't? Or is it all giving you the same thing? Let's do a 360 of the car. This particular one is a 2020 model, but it's the same exact car that you can buy if you go into a Toyota dealership today and pick up a Highlander that is non-hybrid, and that is also not the Grand one, because as we know, now there is a Highlander and the Grand Highlander, which looks like a stretch RAV4. This one, I like how it looks. It's a good looking car. Not a huge fan of the front, but we'll talk about it. This particular one is a platinum trim level. It is a used one, and I'll tell you how many miles this car actually has. This is the back. We'll talk about piece by piece, but just wanted to do a 360 real quick. I like how the Limited looks. I also like even how the LE would look, because it essentially practically looks the same, different wheels and all. But the lineup currently, if you're talking not about everything that's sandwiched in between each trim, you will have LE, XLE, XSE, Platinum, and the Limited. But you also have the hybrid variants of it. You have the nightshades. You have other variants that have sandwiched in between. This is going to be your Limited one, second from the top, really. Where I'm zooming in is going to be this little hole thing, or the crease. I like it, but sometimes I'm like, they might have overdone it. It does add to the character. It looks nice, I think. Overall, the front, it looks aggressive, but also like it's crying. I don't know what to make out of it, but overall, it's a good looking car because it's a family car, so you're not going to talk too much about the styling of it. They've done a good job on overall styling of this car. I like it. The car that I've lived with, when it comes to the one that I tested and or drove with my cousin, it's a red one. It's a hybrid. So that brings me to the point of the engine. So this is going to be a 3.5 liter V6 engine, producing at around 295 horsepower. The non-hybrid will give you somewhere around 29, 29 on the highway, 21 in the city, and the hybrid versions will give you around 35 in the city, 36 in the city, and 35 on the highway, somewhere around there. Front-wise, you have incandescent material, lots of it. Don't like it, but it's there. Fog lights are LED, so that's fine. And then the bottom is going to be matte and body color mix. This one does not have a 360 or a front camera, just has a backup camera, but this is how the front would look like. It's a beefy, bulky front. The back and the side makes it look a little sleek, but in the front, nothing too much to talk about. As we go off to the sides, here is, I like the wheel size and the design. We're talking about 235 55 R20s, and this is how your alloys would look like. I do like the finish on them, and I do like the design of it. Overall, the car then has just normal cladding when it comes to what's on the fender, but it doesn't have any, like cladding or anything rugged at the bottom of the door sills there. Your mirrors are going to be loaded when it comes to half loaded. They're heated and they have integrated turn signals, but they do not power fold. The car does obviously have chrome strip alongside, and then you have the bars up here, and you are able to put bars across so you can haul your, the more luggage up top and or bikes and things of that sort. Otherwise, fairly standard. People are buying these cars because obviously, one, it's reliable. Two, it hauls family and luggage, so it's a nice option if you don't want a minivan. Now, coming off to the back, really, all elements when it comes to, I shouldn't say all. Some are LED, but the rest are going to be your incandescent, which I've never really been a fan of. It doesn't take that much money probably, and the same resources they're applying to give the consumers LED versus incandescent. That's going to be my song. Even the 22s and 23s are also going to be your regular incandescent there. Coming down below, no exhaust tips that are exposed. It does have exhaust on the left side of the car, the right side actually, and then here is your bottom. Nothing exciting, nothing extraordinary to mention up here, but overall, it's a nice looking car, I would say so. Compared to Pilot, really, right? It goes neck to neck. It competes with the Pilot as always. But Pilot, and like I said in my Accord video, Toyota and Honda, they might not give crazy many options in the car in comparison to Hyundai and Kia, but these cars give you the reliability and it lasts you a while. The kid that perhaps is coming back after being born in the hospital in this car back home will be the same kid that will end up driving this car when they get the first license. The idea is these cars last you a long, long time should you maintain them the way you should maintain any car. But the build quality and the longevity and the way these two manufacturers have been doing since forever, it speaks. It does speak. I'm going to open up the trunk. This is how the key fob looks. Traditionally, you folks have probably seen this Toyota key fob for quite some time now. Hold and release open. When it comes to opening that, XLE also gives you that. The cargo mats are in here, but the way the configuration, I have all three seats up, 16 cubic feet as of right now. Fold the third row down, you get about 48. Fold the second down, you get about 84 cubic feet of space to haul all the luggage or all the things from Home Depot and stuff in the car. Compare this with a Grand Highlander. If all seats are folded, you get about 97 cubic feet of storage. All seats folded in this Highlander, you get about 84 cubic feet of storage. So not bad, but you can see that there is about 10 cubic feet of a difference, and obviously that will also be different in passenger volume, legroom, and headroom as well. Closing this off, you can set the height. You can also close this. This must have been a very tall person. I'm 5'9". This was very, very high. But then going back inside, not much to talk about on the outside, really, right? It's a good-looking car when it comes to buying something for a family that you need to keep for quite some time. Highlander should always be on your list, and perhaps even go right ahead and buy it if you prefer this over the Honda Pilot. Both cars are successful in the way they are, and they both have preference as to who buys it and who doesn't. It does have keyless entry, so you simply go right in from here. This is the door panel, not much to talk about. Two-person memory seats here, your typical controls, and then here's the door bin. Rather small because you only have one cup holder here, 500 ml, and then nothing else that you would store here. It does have that light that can pave your way at night. Other than that, this is how the interior would look like. We're talking about the Highlander. Kick plate is there, and then the rest is going to be your leather interior. It's black on black, which does look nice. Stepping inside, you folks have been in Highlanders and Pilot. They have a decent step side height in it. I'm going to turn off the engine. Push start is on all trims, really. This is how the interior would look like in terms of, is it telescopic? It is. So let's push it in so you can see it better. Gauge cluster. It is analog on both sides, except there is a helper screen on the inside. It is cold. I'm going to turn up the heat real quick. All right, so yeah, you get the helper screen that does give you the Toyota safety sensing options inside of it, and then has multiple other options, such as you could see the seatbelt, the multimedia, and then obviously the warnings will also be showing up here. Overall, the car itself on the inside, if we talk about how the interior is laid out, it's nice, it feels good. When you sit inside, it doesn't feel super big or super wide as it is from the outside, especially when you look at the front, really. Now, the car itself, if I show you the mileage on this car has been driven 104,000 miles already. And it still drives, I drove it in the lot, it drives normal. It just, you can't tell that it has that many miles on the car for a 2022. Apart from that, going from left to right, you've got your trunk, you've got this car also had heated steering wheel, so that's nice. and then auto beam feature there too. And then since this is a limited, folks, obviously this one's sticker somewhere around 46, 47,000, which is still not bad because the starting price of the Highlander is 39,000, which is very much in line with how the Pilot is, and obviously how the Palisade and stuff would also be falling. As far as the middle is concerned, which is obviously going to house your infotainment and your heat control, AC controls, this is small. The graphics aren't the best, but I'm not going to zonk it because you're really buying it for family purposes, for storage, not storage, but like, you know, hauling your things. So this might not be the place where you're spending most of the time. If unless you are someone that drives this as a daily as well, then maybe you'd want better graphics, this, that. They have gotten better now in a lot of cars, especially also in Toyota. Toyota just introduced their new system. So you will be able to, you know, find as the years come up, they will get better. But here it's not the brightest or the best, I would say. When I say brightest, I just mean like, you know, brain wise. But overall, you have, you know, just typical, your navigation is in there. You have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, wired of course, but then other Honda apps like Honda Intune and things like that. Overall, the system works the way it's supposed to, but nothing crazy or nothing super extraordinary to mention. Down below, this car also has heated and ventilated, being the Platinum. You do not get that in XLE either. You only get that when you get up to Platinum and then the limited model. Dead easy to control when you have kids in the back. You don't want to go and finick around in the screen here to change things up, down. You have it all laid out here very nicely, big and bold, so you can control that no problem. These, I do like how they feel. It's not just haptic, they're actual switches that move up and down. You have a cubby here. You can slide your phone in, not a big one, but you can slide your smaller phone here. Down below, you have another cubby, rather small. This one will rattle because it's plastic, so don't put your keys there. You have a USB regular all here, 3 of them. So no USB-Cs, obviously. This is 2020, but the 23, I'm not too sure if it has, because 22 models did not have a USB-C either, in the front, at least here, from what I recall, but I could be wrong. 2 cup holders, not super big, just round, small cup holders here, but that's okay because you also have space in the door bins. Not too big, but you can live with it. Parking brake is here electronic again. You do have the brake hold, and then you have your modes laid out here as well when it comes to the downhill assist, start, stop at the traffic light, the snow mode, and then the traction. And then here is your other modes, which is like mud and sand and rock. So as far as the terrain goes, you can switch that as well if you're taking a Highlander off-roading, even though this is the Platinum one. And then you have the drive mode 3, Sport, Normal, Econ. This is your center console. Couple of things with this. You can either just move this, and this reveals your wireless charger. I like the grip of this a lot better than I like the grip on any Honda wireless chargers. This is actually truly a wireless charger with the intention of giving the user a wireless charger so they can put the phone, it stays there, and it charges. And then you can also just bring this back up here, and then you can remove that, or can you not remove that? Oh, you do it this way. It reveals more stuff, such as a tray, and then you have, which slides back, and then you have a very, very deep, actually, console there. So here's that. So it's got like 4 parts to it. Let's call it that. The deep console here, then a tray storage here, then you shut that for your wireless charger, and then you shut the lid to close it off. It doesn't move. That was my impression, but it doesn't. Seats are comfortable for the class this car falls under. They don't obviously have crazy many bolsters, but they're comfortable. Good ride. This is leather. You get leather in XLE and up as well. Same material, even though it's a limited, so no change there. Stitching is there, but it's not much different than what I've seen in the XLE trim level. That's the passenger side door panel. Seat scores are powered. You have a little more storage cubby here up top, and then you have your glove box down here. I don't know what you can store here. It's not super big, but it's there. It is fine. As far as other things in the car is concerned, being a platinum trim level, excuse me, a limited trim level with all that enthusiasm, this has the JBL sound system, so that is good. The audio is nice. I'm not going to play it, but overall, the interior of the car is good looking to sit inside. The quality is premium. It feels good. It feels strong. If I push things, it just feels strong. It feels substantial. This is coming from, like, you know, go into a Camry, go into a RAV4. This is all the same, even Tundra, so it feels very substantial. Toyota, build quality is good. You will not be disappointed. Now, this again brings me to the point. If you're comparing this car to the 3 other Honda Pilot, Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, notice the build quality is going to be different between Toyota, Honda versus the Kia and the Telluride. They might give you more options, but hey, it's your money. Decide how you will, but I'm just pointing out things that you should be on the lookout for, especially when it comes to picking up a family car, such as this one. Then up here, you have your Toyota Link, so you can have your garage doors be accessed from here. And then a regular size sunroof, no panel, nothing of that sort, so that is there. Going out, climbing out from here into the back. The back does not have keyless entry, of course, but you go into the back and we will reveal the passenger volume in general that you see and then what you can use. Passengers, in the door panel, will get 2 cup holders, which is nice. You also have, for the Limited, you have the shades up here. XLE does not give you the shades. You can have, you know, tints be done. It does have the privacy glass, but it's not that UV kind. This is how the back would look like. Before I jump into, actually, let's talk about this, and then we'll talk about the third row, where I have also sat and actually on a ride that was like 30 minutes. Jumping in, these are not captain seats, these are seats, so this one will seat, according to Toyota, 8, but we'll talk about that. Here, what do we get? We do not get the vents here, because vents are up top in the ceiling for passengers, but you do have the 3rd zone climate control for the Limited trim level. And then you have 2 USB-A's here, and then a 100, the household 100-watt socket there. Boat seats have map pockets. The seats here are fairly comfortable. They have a good headroom. It does dip because of all this, the way this is put. So it's not a flat one tone. Well, it's one tone, but it's not like the same size or the height for driver and the passengers. It does dip by way. You can kind of see that. And the vents are up top here for the passengers, because even though the 3rd row has passenger vents, they still gave you on the ceiling for the rear people as opposed to up here. No problem there. As far as what goes in terms of here, you have 2 cup holders. They are not vertical, so if you want to rest your arms, it's going to go in here as opposed to resting here. Overall, you get about 4 cup holders, or actually 6, because 2 are on the door sills there. From here on, if we go into the 3rd row, that's where all the magic happens, because it's going to be magical if you can seat an adult, because they're not meant for adults, really. And that's typically how it is. So you have the seats you can move up like this with, you know, a paddle here, or if you just want to get in the back, here is that. Unlike the Honda Pilot, where there is a button, you just hit that, it moves up, pushes down, people go in. It's going to be that cramped. It is not the best seat to be in. I will actually demonstrate if I can get in the back. Like I said in Pilot 2, it's difficult, folks, to hold the camera and also do this, but I will do it for us. So I've just sat in the back. I have basically, if I bring this, so wish me luck. If we do this, I can't push this, folks. I can't push this in the back. This should give you an idea. As a 5'9" adult, I am not able to fit in the back at all of this car comfortably. I can if I was either a little kid or if I go sideways, I can, but in the position I'm in, you can also see the seat bottom and where my knee is. This is a very uncomfortable position to be in for, I don't know, even if the car is just parked and you want to sit in it for 2 minutes, let alone be on a ride that is going to be, I don't know, for however long. You can kind of see exactly that this is a funny seat. My pick between this back and the Pilot's back is going to be Pilot. I've sat in this, I've told you, and it's not the best experience ever. And I wasn't even able to put my seat back up right now. So you decide when it comes to that. So overall, this car, honestly, truly speaking, if you have a family of 5, kids are growing, you need a bigger car, use these two. This cabin is totally fine. That, don't expect to seat anyone there. Fold those, use it as cargo. If you absolutely need to haul people, you can. I'm not saying you can't, but they will be uncomfortable. They will hate you as someone trying to haul them in that seat. Overall, the verdict of this car, it's a Toyota Highlander. You can't go wrong. You know how these cars are. They have been running on the roads forever. You still see a Highlander from like 2005. You see a Highlander from 2015. You will also see a Highlander in 2025. They don't go anywhere. They just keep running, and they run well. People that have bought cars like Toyota Highlander, Honda Pilot, they love those cars, and they typically, if they're upgrading, they typically try to upgrade to the same car of a new year. You could also see in the frame over there is the new Pilot, which is obviously, if you go for the 23 Highlander, 24 Highlanders, they look the same. That's the Pilot. I personally will always vote for the Pilot, but I have no hate against the Highlander either. I told you my experience with the back seats, so go right ahead, test it out, but do also, if you have a family and you're planning to, buy one of these, please test the third row if it's important for you. If not, then sure, just use the car as a bigger car overall and more cargo there. You'd be fine with it. But third row, a lot of complaints when it comes to how cramped it is. Typically how it is in the segment, but just know that there are some that are going to give you a little more space than not. The Mazda CX-90 is going to be bigger, so do check that out as well. If I'm thinking of a few names right now that competes in this segment, you have the Toyota Highlander, Honda Pilot, Mazda CX-90, Toyota, Hyundai Palisade, Kia Telluride. Those are all going to be in the same competition there, give or take. I've said this before, I'll say it again without any hesitation. Toyota, Honda will always be more premium to me, and the other brands that I just mentioned there when it comes to reliability, longevity, low cost of maintenance, and the fact that the kid that gets born in this car will be also the kid that drives this for the first time when they get their driver's license, simply speaking about the longevity of it. Until next time, everybody, take care and have a great rest of your week.